Taction USA is your go-to source for crime scene and evidence collection supplies. Taction USA offers quality products all designed and tested by active duty first responders and investigators. With no minimum order, you can order as much or as little as you need. Ordering is fast with no hassle attached. Check out TactionUSA.com today and find the quality and quantity you need when it comes to crime scene and evidence collection supplies. That's TactionUSA.com, or look for the link in our show notes and Facebook posts. Hello once again, and welcome to Crossing the Tape in the News, the best news podcast you happen to be listening to right now. I'm Brendan, joined along with
Hillary.
And we bring you this time a little more catch up from our holiday break. We're going to talk about the New Orleans truck attack, but we'll also touch on some interesting coincidence with another event that we will cover in the next go around.
Right. So, like he said, we'll discuss the truck incident in New Orleans. And around the same time, actually only a few hours apart, there was another incident in Las Vegas. And so immediately, of course, I went to, is this terrorism? Coordinated terrorism, because the two attacks, they both involve vehicles. You know, were they planned? Were they coincidental?
Weird similarities. Right.
And we will touch on the Las Vegas incident, but this episode we're mainly going to talk about the New Orleans one. But like I said, it seemed awfully suspicious to me, but I always also go to the negative.
Right. Clearly,
so there's no coincidences.
A joint effort.
So, some interesting facts that we'll touch on. Both people involved in the incidents were men, and they were both U.S. military and were stationed at Fort Bragg at one time or another. So I thought that was interesting that there were similarities there.
I believe the gentleman here he was no longer active duty at the time.
Right.
Was a reservist. The other guy, I believe, still active.
That was my understanding as well. And authorities, you know, they kind of went into their backgrounds to try to see if they had ever crossed paths, but I don't believe they ever found anything.
I don't think so.
That said they were at Fort Bragg at the same time. It's just a coincidence.
Yes. A lot of people in the Army will have been at Fort Bragg at one time.
Yeah, it's
kind of the hub.
It's one that everybody goes through pretty much. In addition, they both acquired the vehicles from the same car borrowing application, which I thought was interesting.
And a bad idea.
Right. I don't
know about that.
I don't understand borrowing a car through an app at all, let alone this being another really strange coincidence. Right. So, again, you know, something that was a red flag to me, but I don't really think that there's anything to it other than they happen to use the same app.
Yeah, in our area, we don't really hear about people using that. I don't know how common that is in more major metropolitan areas.
We're in the middle of nowhere, so that's why we do this.
You want to drive a car, go get your own.
Right. But for now, we'll focus on the New Orleans attack.
The name of the gentleman.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to give it my best. Shamsuddin Bahar Jabbar, henceforth referred to as Jabbar.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
He drove a Ford F-150 onto a pedestrian area of Bourbon Street in New Orleans. So, of course, I've never been to New Orleans, but I'm pretty sure everybody understands that that's the street.
Yeah, that's the Mardi Gras party area.
Right. So he drove a Ford F-150 onto an area of that street that's just for pedestrians at 3:15 a.m. on January 1st. The area is normally inaccessible to vehicles, but barricades had been removed for maintenance, unfortunately, because they're doing a lot of extra work because they're hosting the Super Bowl this year. So unfortunately, those barricades that are normally put up were taken away.
And there's another game, the Sugar Bowl, that was going to be on New Year's Day. I think they were also preparing for it. But I imagine that area is like Vegas when they prepared for the F1 race. It's a turmoil.
Oh, yeah. We know when not to go there.
Yeah, probably heavy construction and things had been moved.
Right, but
he shouldn't have been able to get to that area in a car.
But because of the Sugar Bowl and some other upcoming events, unfortunately, that's what occurred. So Jabbar drove around a police vehicle onto a sidewalk, right through Bourbon Street, striking and killing 15 pedestrians and injuring over 50 more. That's a lot in a small...
very quick, compact area.
But that's exactly... I'm sure that must have been his intention.
Yes.
Because it is such a congested area.
Well, we know from what he did next, he had a plan for what he was going to carry out.
Right.
Here. So I'm sure he intended to strike as many people as he could.
Yeah, unfortunately. He quickly crashed the car as officers on foot in the area rushed towards him. As soon as he crashed, he ran out of the truck, firing his gun toward the officers. He was already wearing body armor and managed to strike and injure 2 police officers before he was struck multiple times in the torso, causing a fatal injury.
Which is lucky that he was hit in the torso and still stopped despite wearing body armor.
I know. I thought that was interesting.
It must have had enough impact, whatever rounds the officers were using, had enough impact to cause pretty quick internal injury and take him down.
He was armed with an AR-10 rifle and a Glock handgun. And given the attacker's name as well as an Islamic State flag on the truck, the immediate assumption was he was a foreign terrorist trying to carry out an attack. But again, I'm going to be heavy on the assumption,
Right, that was the
first thought.
I mean, obviously the first impression is going to be, this is a someone else's attempt at a 9/11 style attack.
Right.
But
again, assumption. So that was the assumption. Mm-hmm. But information was soon released, which indicated Jabbar was not only an American citizen, but also a former U.S. Army soldier and reservist. Mm-hmm. So the FBI soon found that despite not having any connections to foreign terror groups, Jabbar had become radicalized by Islamic State since becoming a devout Muslim in 2022. And in the other information I found was that in the hours prior to the attack, he declared his support for ISIS online on social media or something. Mm-hmm. So, to me, this was a one-man show,
Yeah, like they said, there was no connection to any foreign groups, any terror groups, but he decided to dedicate himself more to his faith.
Right.
And it sounds like he went down an online rabbit hole.
Yes.
Which led him to believe the only true way to be Muslim is to be part of the Islamic State and carry these anti-American ideals, which is a shame because prior to that he was, by all accounts, a normal dude.
Yeah,
he served
American
his country.
citizen, served his country, someone to be, not renowned. What am I looking for?
He was just a normal, respectable dude.
Yes, respectable. But unfortunately, he let an idea get out of hand.
Yeah, it was able to fester, and sounds like just the right ingredients for this cocktail of bad decisions, basically.
Yeah.
He was too vulnerable to these insane ideas.
Yeah.
And he let that control his decision-making from then on, to the point that he decided, you know what, I need to go out by making a statement.
Which is very, obviously wrong, unnecessary, and just sad all the way around. Yes.
And, I mean, it's a bummer either way, whether it's a foreign terror attack. But it's a drag when we can't even point fingers at, there's this entire...
It's somebody else. It's one of us,
us. No, it's one of us from the inside who decided the only way to make their point is to take out other people, completely innocent bystanders on the street, just trying to enjoy the evening, because they spent too much time online, and read a bunch of garbage. Yeah. So unfortunately, that was the news, and we're going to be back next Saturday with another installment of In the News, where we will discuss the Las Vegas truck incident. Yes. That we don't believe is related, but...
No, I haven't found anything that authorities think that. Yeah. It is still really coincidental
really
to me, but so far there hasn't been any connection, but it is quite interesting.
Yeah. And there doesn't appear to be any sort of Islamic State or Muslim relating facts to the Las Vegas
not in the other
attack.
one.
So it sounds like this one was just
isolated.
Yeah, a guy who he got inside his own head too much and did something really, really terrible.
Yeah.
So please join us again soon for the next installment of In the News, and we'll be back with our regular shows soon.
Yes. Thank you for listening. Stay safe.
So long. Due to the array of duties officers must carry out, comfortable, reliable footwear is paramount, and not just any old boot will do. Officers must be able to count on their boots to appear professional and perform at a high level regardless of the task at hand. 511's 8-inch AT AR670-1 boots meet all of these unique criteria and more. Featuring the all-terrain load assistance system as well as ortholite footbeds, you'll know the meaning of the word comfort each time you put them on. This soft padding allows officers to endure long shifts without fatigue, sweat, or discomfort. You'll also find the added confidence in your step not only because of the sharp appearance of these boots, but because of the highly adaptive soles. Slip-resistant and traction-focused, the AR6701 boots are designed to help you go anywhere you need to with ease. Additionally, these boots are compliant with U.S. Army uniform regulations. I've worn 511 AT boots for years, and can tell you from experience they will never disappoint. Get your AR670-1 boots or any other high-quality AT boots from 511 today.